All he ever wanted to do was to make friends. Welcome back to Kim Tells Tales, where every story has a lesson. So come closer, little one. Let me tell you a story. Deep in the warm African wild, beside a wide, sparkling river, lived Hippo, the hippopotamus. Hippo had everything he needed: cool water, soft mud, and plenty of sunshine. But Hippo had one big problem. He was lonely, very lonely. Every day, animals came to the river, but never stayed long enough to be friendly. Zebras would trot in, drink quickly, and leave. Antelopes would sip and run. Even the chatty monkeys would swing down, gulp some water, and disappear into the trees. Hello, Hippo would say softly, with only his eyes and nostrils above the water. Hello, they would say. Sip, sip, goodbye. And just like that, they were gone. Hippo would sink slowly back into the water. No one ever stays, he sighed. One day, Hippo had an idea. Maybe if I look like them, they'll stay. So he climbed out of the river onto the muddy banks and covered himself in mud stripes. Perfect, he said proudly. I am now a zebra. He strutted confidently toward the bushy wild. Hello, family, Hippo neighed. He sounded absolutely terrible. The real zebras froze, then burst out laughing. You're too big, and your stripes are gray. Hippo hadn't noticed the mud had dried and turned pale and flaky. And why are you wobbling like that? Are you even a zebra? Hippo looked down. His stripes were peeling off, gathering into gray flakes around his feet. Uh-oh. Embarrassed, he turned around and dove straight back into the river. The next day, Hippo tried again. The previous day's disaster completely forgotten. Who wants to be a zebra anyway? He thought to himself. All those stripes would give anyone a headache. On to a new plan. He stuck twigs and branches onto his face, stretching out his tiny tusks. Now I'm a warthog, he snorted. He walked up to a group of warthogs. Greetings, brothers, he said proudly. One warthog blinked. Wow, you are big. And why are you so shiny? Another whispered. Are those tusks sticks? Suddenly, snap, the twigs fell right off his face. The warthogs howled with laughter. Hippo slowly turned around and walked back to the river, defeated again. This time, Hippo said, I will get it right. Giving up never crossed his mind. He tied dry grass along his neck and admired himself in the river, completely ignoring the ridiculous reflection staring back at him. In his eyes, he looked majestic, just like a lion. He spotted a pride of lions resting nearby. I will join them, he said confidently. He tiptoed forward. Then suddenly, Hippo tripped over his own feet, rolled down a small slope, and landed right in front of the lions in a heap of grass. The lions lazily stared. Are you lunch? One asked. I think it's a moving bush, said another. The grass slid off. Hi, Hippo said shyly. The lions burst out laughing. Hippo ran straight back to the river, faster than he had ever run before. By the time he reached the water, his tiny pink stubby feet were shaking. There was the biggest splash ever as he dove yet again into the river. Later that day, something unusual happened. The animals gathered at the riverbank. Hippo, said Zebra gently, why do you keep pretending to be us? Hippo looked down at the water. Because I'm lonely, he said quietly. I thought if I became like you, maybe you'd let me stay with you. The animals looked surprised. But Hippo, said Antelope, we thought you liked being alone. No, why would you think that? He asked, shocked. Well, every time we come to the river, you disappear underwater. All we ever see are your ears. Hippo blinked. Oh, I don't hide because I want to. My skin gets dry and sore in the sun. I have to stay in the water. The animals looked at one another. Oh, what are we going to do with you now? Asked Zebra. Then Monkey clapped his hands. Well, that's easy, he said. We'll just come to you. The next day, the riverbank was full of laughter. Zebras stayed and chatted, monkeys told jokes, antelopes rested nearby. Even the lions lounged peacefully at a safe distance. And in the middle of it all was Hippo, smiling, laughing, splashing happily in the water. For the first time ever, Hippo wasn't lonely. He didn't need to be a zebra, or a warthog, or even a lion. He just needed to be Hippo. By the end of that day, Hippo had learned you don't have to change who you are to be loved. The right friends will meet you where you are. The end. Did you enjoy that little one? Please join us again for the same story in another language, Sesotho.